Hello, hello, is it me?
Hello. 6 weeks ago, my university here in Rotterdam closed for coronavirus, and ever since then, I've been mostly in my apartment in quarantine. What happened when the school closed is I realised that my life has no structure and no rhythm, or at least it doesn't have any structure or rhythm apart from that which I get from my location, meaning when I went to university, I was studying, working on projects, attending lessons, and when I came home, I was relaxing, cooking, socializing. Now, all of a sudden, that structure was gone because I couldn't go to the university, and also we handed in a project towards the end of the time when the school was open. So, as I entered quarantine, I had some time where I wasn't really working on any projects. All of the things I could do were optional. And so, without any structure in place, I kind of just defaulted to not doing very much and not feeling very satisfied with my days. So, I wasn't happy with leaving it like that. And so, what I started doing was recording my days on post it notes. Today, I want to show you just how I do that, how I have been doing that, and how I do it now. A couple things I learned from doing it, and the routine that I now have every day as a result of doing this for the past 6 weeks. Firstly, what did I start doing? I started writing on the yellow post-it notes. The yellow post-it notes. I wrote on the yellow post-it notes what I had done that day. So, the first ever post-it note. So, for example, this post-it note is the first one I wrote. It's on Monday the 23rd of March 2020, and I just wrote a bullet-pointed list of the things that I achieved that day, the things I felt proud of. So, I learned about Discord bots, I made a Minecraft multiverse, I did some green screen experiments, some basic small tasks, and I wrote this post-it note, stuck it on my wall, and went to sleep. I was doing that for a couple of weeks, and then I started adding something different every night. I started adding the blue post-it notes. So, for example, on the blue post-it notes, I was writing not what I did that day, but what I thought I should do the next day. It was kind of like a little bit of pre-planning. Considering at the time I didn't really have any responsibilities to plan for, these weren't really necessary plans, but it was just adding some structure to an empty day. On this first ever blue post-it note, I should create a blog, separate my writing platform into two types, prepare for this, review that, finish this, post that. And what I've started by doing was kind of just writing everything I could think of that was particularly interesting at the time. And this changed a little bit, but that was the first one. One other thing I added at one point, but that didn't really stick, is this pink post-it note. This is a gratitude note. I wrote on this note what I was grateful for that day. For example, really good conversation with Dimitri about social media attitudes. I gained clarity on this, beautiful weather, fun time with this person, fun time with that person. These are things that I wasn't proud of, but things that had happened to me or that I had experienced that I should be grateful for. And actually, I think I should probably bring this back. I think it's a good exercise to do, but at the time it didn't stick. It wasn't top priority. So as I've been doing this every day, things haven't stuck the same. They've changed a little bit. I've been making modifications to how I record my days, and I've been changing how I plan for the next day as well. And doing this has taught me a lot about which things make me feel good, which things don't make me feel so good, what makes me excited, what makes me anxious, and so on. So a few things I've learned from doing this are, firstly, that writing the yellow notes means that days don't get forgotten. When you don't go anywhere or see anyone, it's really easy for your day to just kind of get lost into history. And so writing down what you did means I can look back and realise that even though this week might have flown past, every day did occur, it's much less easy to feel like time has just vanished. I can see where the time went. I also learned that the process of planning your next day is really important, and how much you put on the note makes a big difference to how you feel at the end of the day. So if I put loads and loads of tasks on my to-do list for the following day, I would have lots and lots to do, but if I got to the end of the day and had missed one thing off the list, I would feel unsatisfied. I would feel like I had failed to complete my assignments that day. On the other hand, if I was only writing 1 or 2 tasks, then once I had completed those tasks, I would think, okay, good, I now have freedom to do what I like, but I would immediately be hit by paralysis of choice, like with no purpose or pre-planned structure, and the freedom to do anything, I would often end up doing nothing. So if I was putting loads and loads of tasks on my list, then the next day would feel quite stressful. I would have quite a lot of anxiety, and I maybe wouldn't even want to get out of bed, because the idea of having to do so many of these tasks was quite daunting. And so what I'm learning now is to balance more tasks and less tasks in order to reach a kind of state of flow somewhere in the middle, a healthy balance. And you can only figure that out, I think, from experience, learning how fast you move, how much you can make in a day. So here's the routine I'm following at the moment, which is making me feel most fulfilled than I have in a long time. I start slow. Most importantly, I start slow. That means not rushing into a task immediately, but just taking it easy, having a drink, listening to music. I've also been doing a bit of yoga, which is very new to me, but has been really healthy for clearing my mind and giving me focus before I start doing any work. Immediately after I've kind of woken up and I'm feeling ready to go, I will tackle the hardest task, like climbing the most tall peak early in the morning means that the rest of the day is a downhill slope. As my energy declines, the difficulty declines. And it feels great to have achieved the most difficult task of the day by lunchtime. Also, I've been running, which I haven't done in a long time, but at the moment I'm running most days, and I use the running to kind of bookend the day. So once I go for my run, as the sun is setting, maybe 6, 7, 8 p.m, that's when productivity and work and projects come to an end. What I am then doing is refueling for the evening. The evening is then a time of me refueling for the next day of work. And refueling can just mean watching TV, watching movies and relaxing. It can also be looking at projects that other people have made and watching documentaries, reading books that fill me with inspiration and give me lots of ideas and enthusiasm for the next day. This has been really important for making me feel excited about going to bed and waking up the next morning, rather than feeling dread. Also, what I've been really trying to do is be deliberate about when I socialize. Socializing as a bit of an introvert makes me feel drained. I feel tired after socializing. Even though I love it, even though I love talking to people, I just feel tired afterwards. And so making sure that I time it right, putting it in the evenings, spreading it out throughout the week rather than doing it all on one day, means that my energy lasts much longer. It's a much more consistent flow, rather than before when I was maybe putting all my meetings and social life on a Saturday or something like this, and just feeling exhausted, feeling dread for when Saturday would come, and I would know just how exhausted I would be. Finally, before bed, I write my post-it notes, what I did that day, what I want to do the next day. I make sure that the next day has a particular task that is going to be challenging. I know it's going to be challenging, and I try and do it straight away. Make sure evening comes around, go for my run, work ends, and I start refueling for the next day again. I go to bed feeling enthusiastic, and I wake up feeling excited because I know that this day has a purpose. I hope that makes some sense. It has been an interesting experiment for me. I hope it is interesting to you. Maybe you do something similar. Maybe you don't, but maybe you will try now. Either way, I would love to know what you do, how you do it, and how you find things. Please do let me know. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I will see you soon.